Okay, this feels like a good time. We have quite a fair number of people signed on. So with that, I would like to say I'm Sharon Reed. I'm the Programs and Events Coordinator for the Hood Museum of Art. And I would like to say hello and welcome you to the virtual second annual Indigenous Peoples Month fashion show. We are recording tonight and also streaming live on the Hood Museum of Art Facebook page. Our program will run for approximately 1 hour. And for anyone who may not be familiar with Zoom tonight, I'd just like to offer a couple of quick tips. If you look at the green bar on your screen, once we start sharing images, you will see a tab next to it that reads Viewing Options. And if you click on that tab, there is a drop-down menu where you can choose side by side, and that will allow you to view the presentation and be able to move the speaker thumbnails over to the side so they don't overlap. You can also zoom in on the presentation by adjusting your zoom ratio, which is also located in that same tab, Viewing Options. And if you're joining us on an iPad tonight, you can zoom in and out simply by pinching your fingers on the screen. And now it is my pleasure to turn this over to my colleague to get us started. Please welcome Jamie Powell, Associate Curator of Native American Art.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. I'd like to start our event by acknowledging the land upon which Dartmouth is situated. The Hood Museum of Art at Dartmouth is situated upon the ancestral and unceded lands of the Abenaki peoples. This acknowledgement reminds us of the significance of place, the continued existence of Indigenous peoples, and the museum and Dartmouth's commitment to building respectful relationships with those who call these lands home today. I also want to thank those of you who are joining us today. This is an incredibly challenging time, and I think this is probably the longest I've gone without checking the news. In a couple of days, there's nothing else happening in the world, so this is it right here. But we do recognize that this is a challenging time, and our thoughts go out to all those who have suffered with the coronavirus or experienced the loss of family, friends, or colleagues. We wish you healing and good health. So thank you all for being here. You'll see a few faces on the screen. We are hosting the second annual Indigenous Peoples Month Fashion Showcase. This began last year through a student-led effort where Indigenous students across campus from both Native Americans at Dartmouth and Dartmouth Hokupa'a reached out about hosting a fashion show and art showcase at the Hood Museum. And it was such a successful event that we definitely wanted to recreate it this year. So bear with us as we try and recreate this experience in a virtual platform. If any of you have your COVID bingo cards out, like we have pivoted to creating this event in a virtual space. This is also the first event that we have done where we are streaming live to Facebook. And it does appear that there's a little bit of a delay. So throughout the evening, we encourage you all to submit comments and questions in the chat throughout the show. This is going to be as interactive as possible. The format for the evening will be introductions of our guest MC and some discussion with Gio, and then we will play a video of submissions that Dartmouth students and Indigenous community members on Dartmouth campus have submitted to us that we have created, and I'm using the royal we here, but one person in particular who I'll introduce momentarily has created, edited into a single film, and Gio will live MC this pre-recorded video, and then we will open it up for discussion and dialogue amongst the student organizers and participants, some of whom are joining us on screen now. So without further ado, I am really excited to introduce all of you to the Hood Museum of Art's newest employee, Taylor Rose Payer, who joined the museum in September of 2020 as the Cultural Heritage and Indigenous Knowledges Fellow. Taylor was born and raised on the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indian Reservation in what is now known as North Dakota, and is a Dartmouth 15. Taylor has had various curatorial roles and educational roles in museums, including the Rhode Island School of Design Museum of Art, the Walker Art Center, the Portland Art Museum, and the All My Relations Gallery in Minneapolis. In her new role at the Hood, Taylor assists with developing relationships between the Hood Museum of Art, the Dartmouth College Library, and Native American and Indigenous communities built around collaborative-based and collections research. Taylor has spent a lot of hours the past few days putting together all of the student contributions into the film that you will all see momentarily. And the second introduction, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm so pleased that we have Geo Neptune, a Dartmouth 10, joining us this evening. Geo is a member of the Passamaquoddy tribe at Indian Township, a nation within unceded Wabanaki Confederacy territory in what is now referred to as Maine. Geo is a non-binary two-spirit master basket maker, activist, and educator who also does beadwork, hand poke tattooing, drag, print and runway modeling, and duck raising most recently. In September, Geo became Maine's first transgender non-binary two-spirit elected official. And we are just so grateful to have such incredible alums to visit with our students, but also to spend this time and celebrate the creative capacity of NAD's past, present, and future. So welcome. And I'll open it up to you and Taylor for some Q&A with Geo before we get started.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, Chimigwetch, Jamie, for that introduction. So to start, we're going to do this AMA style, ask me anything. So you can ask Geo anything. They told me nothing is out of bounds. So let's hear your questions that I know you're dying to ask.
Yes.
We probably need a minute to gather them. So I can start, Geo, if that's okay.
That sounds great.
Great. So I would love to know how you got into fashion and modeling. I know you do a bazillion things, as Jamie just said. And then my follow-up question to that would be, does this intersect at all with a really timely question, which is your new political position on the school board?
Well, I guess I found my way to fashion and modeling primarily through drag. When I started my drag career, I really wanted, I had this ultimate dream of being on RuPaul's Drag Race and wearing nothing but native couture down the runway. Because I had been to market, I had seen pieces by Jamie Okuma, pieces by Bethany Yellowtail, pieces by other designers, Dorothy Grant, all of these beautiful pieces that are such amazing representations of native fashion. Whereas when I saw people represent native fashion on TV, it was always cheap fake buckskin that was ripped and huge plain style headdresses. And it was a bit of a disappointment because native fashion is so much more than that, and so much more complex and beautiful and rich and diverse. So I think that is really what started my journey into fashion. And I do owe a big thank you to Jason and Donna Brown at DeConti and Brown for giving me my start and asking me to walk down the runway for them, not only at the Abbey Museum Indian Market, but at the Santa Fe Indian Market when they were asked to do their first show. So after that, I've done some modeling shoots on my own that I was a little bit surprised got so much attention, since it was just something that me and my best friend did for fun. Um, but that's how I found my way, I guess, kind of into the world of fashion, and also through a basket maker, through making wearable art, such as my earrings that I've got on right now. In terms of how that intersects with my political career, I'm not really sure, other than the fact that people from outside of the community definitely use my gender identity and expression, and the fact that I do drag as a way to discount my qualifications for school board. But that's those are opinions coming from outside of the community, not from within side of the community, obviously. So I don't really know, I guess, how fashion and politics will intersect. Other than I could come up with some really great business casual ideas with native fashion mixed in. But
Yeah, thanks for that answer. We have our first question from an attendee. This person would like to know, they want to wear outrageous, fun costumes outside of the house, or clothing, outfits, and would like to know, how do you get the confidence to do something like that?
I think for me, I think that confidence is a lot like a muscle. It's something you have to practice, and it's something you have to work, and you have to give it strength. So if you are looking to experiment with your fashion and wear things that are a bit more quote unquote outrageous to people who might dress a bit more, let's say, subdued, you can start with baby steps. I mean, like for me, I didn't just start wearing a ribbon skirt in public every day. It started, I think my baby step was jeggings. I went and bought some jeggings instead of jeans, and that was my first baby step. And then I bought a few of other, like, floral tops, and then I bought a few other more feminine things. So if you are looking to do those things and feel more comfortable about it, you don't even necessarily have to do it leaving the house. Start doing it at home and wear whatever you want, and feel comfortable in that. And then when you do leave the house, just try one thing that's a little bit different from your normal routine. And then as you get more and more comfortable with that, add another thing and add another thing. Maybe add some eyeliner. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I hope that helps.
I think that was a great answer. So another one from Jamie. This question has definitely come from Jamie, who has been sharing with me throughout the last few days all of the memes about CNN's categorization of the Native American vote as something else. We need to get your hot take on this sort of categorization and the meme explosion that happened afterwards.
Well, I think it's a real obvious, an obvious indicator that Indigenous people are still being erased. I mean, in a state where Native people can have that much of an influence over the vote, and are that much of the population, they still were just defined in, a something else category among a list of all other ethnicities. I mean, how hard would it have been to include Native people in that list, instead of just putting something else? And I think that Native people's reactions to it are definitely mixed. I mean, Native people have a really long history of laughing at our own trauma, because I think that laughing is a really important way for us to process that trauma when we had no other way or time to process the things that were happening to us. So I think that still survives a lot today, and definitely survives a lot in a lot of different Native communities, where that humor is something that comes through, even if it's something that really might not seem all that funny from the outside. There's definitely a long history of Native people making non-Native people uncomfortable with our jokes because we are joking about the things that happen to us. But I think it is an amazing reflection of the resiliency of Indigenous people because, you know, not everybody would necessarily react the way we would to something like that. And I do see a question that popped up in the chat. So as a current Dartmouth student, I was wondering what you studied at Dartmouth and how these areas of study or how your time at Dartmouth as a NAD in general continues to influence you in the various roles you hold today. That's a really good question. So I was a theater major at Dartmouth and I was a Native American Studies minor. And it got down to, I was not one of those people that properly planned out my class load at the beginning of my Dartmouth career. So I got to the end and ended up taking 4 classes my senior spring, 3 of which were required, or all 4 of them were required for me to graduate. And I didn't plan that out too well. But it came up to having to choose between graduating on time and completing my Native Studies minor. And so I chose to graduate on time. But my time at Dartmouth and my studies at Dartmouth, I mean, I think that theater is a really obvious influence, especially in my drag and also coming through in my storytelling performances. And the other part of Dartmouth that really influenced me was my connection to the Native community, to the NAD house, to the other NADs, because I went from the reservation to a boarding school where I was the only Native student, and then to Dartmouth, where I specifically chose that environment because of the greater Native population and because there were other res kids. So that has really influenced me in like the greater NADI network, the NAD alumni network is one that's amazing as well and has popped up all over the place and especially in my career. So I'd say, yeah, my time at Dartmouth and my studies at Dartmouth have influenced me in a lot of ways, especially in maintaining these connections all across Indian country.
Yeah, so I think we have a great question here to end on. So this attendee would like to know, in your opinion, what's okay for non-Native people to wear as far as Native fashion? And then as a great follow-up and something to end on, where should these people be looking to purchase Indigenous fashion?
So my rule of thumb when looking at Indigenous fashion, if it is made and it is for sale and you are allowed to buy it, you are allowed to wear it. I mean, the things that would really be off limits are things like regalia, things like ceremonial items, and those wouldn't be made available for you typically to be able to purchase anyway. So if it's for sale, you can buy it. I mean, Native earrings, you can absolutely buy and rock. Jamie Okuma fashion, you can absolutely buy and rock because these artists are making them to sell not just to Native people, but to the general public. And when artists do prefer to sell only to Native people, then they do. So if it's for sale, buy it, rock it. You can check out Jamie Okuma. You can check out Elias Not Afraid, who is just who has just launched his website. You can go to beyondbuckskin.com, which has a great, not just shop of Native fashion, but a great directory of other Native artists. I would also recommend checking out the Be Yellowtail site and Be Yellowtail Collective. There was one more, OXDX. OXDX Clothing is another great website. And the final person I will recommend is Stephen Paul Judd's company, The Natives, THENTVS.com. They're amazing t-shirts. So yeah, I think that's enough. That's quite a shopping list for you to go through.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to add those to the chat at some point too, so everybody has that for reference. Unless we have any outstanding questions, I think I can go to the video. Is that right, Jamie?
Yeah, we'll do the video, and then the questions that we weren't able to get to thus far, we can pick back up after the video for the larger Q&A and discussion.
Great, yeah, so feel free to keep putting in questions and we'll get to them at the end.
So our first spotlight in our fashion showcase is going to be Claire Young, who is a 21 at Dartmouth and Choctaw.
Halito sa Huchipoya Clarion. I'm in Tilly, Wright City, Oklahoma. Micha Chatasia. Hello, my name is Claire Young. I'm from Wright City, Oklahoma, and I'm Choctaw. I'm a 21, which means I'm a senior here at Dartmouth, and I'm a double major in religion and history modified with Native American studies. My earrings, they have diamond patterns, laser cut into them. So we call them Cintilissa Black Snake. And they're by a Choctaw artist, Kristen Gentry, at Creative Native on Instagram. Amazing pieces. My shirt is by the Indigenous brand Thrive United. Oklahoma Land Run hit different though. You get the reference, you just know.
So some of the things that I really like about the look are this blend of traditional Native clothing on top of more contemporary clothing. I mean, you have this beautiful ribbon skirt that is common among a lot of Indigenous cultures for women to wear. And then you also have the t-shirt and the kokum scarf mask. And I really liked seeing the tattoo as an artist. I love seeing those tattoos come up. And up next, we have Ariana Yellowbank, who is 24, who is Southern Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ho-Chunk. So Ariana's look is made up of a shirt by Jamie Okuma and a woodlands floral inspired beaded fabric mask. So that is a type of fabric that actually has beaded motifs printed onto it. So again, I'm loving this look because I don't know whatever other people call it. I almost call it kind of a market hat. I see a lot of people wear that shape of hat, and it's kind of a classic silhouette to feature in fashion. So up next, we have Aaliyah Johnson Jennings, who is a 21, who is Kappa, Choctaw, Sac and Fox, and Miami. So her outfit consists of a kokum scarf, also known as a grandma scarf. Kokum is a Algonquin word that is used in a lot of tribes to describe your grandmother. It's very similar to my own word for grandmother in Passamaquoddy. And wearing these beautiful Native Trading Post earrings, these big, beautiful beaded earrings. But kokum scarves, those florals, are a really popular addition, not only to regular everyday fashion and streetwear, but to powwow regalia as well. And this is an opportunity to give a shout out to all of the pawn shop beaters as we talk about the Trading Post earrings. Look at those gorgeous earrings. Look at that big, beautiful detail. I always love that Native people are not afraid of big earrings. It's almost like the bigger, the better. We like to be humble, but not when it comes to our earrings. Those need to be absolutely big. So up next, we have Sofia Palacios, who is from the Pueblo of Poake and Chamorro, and is the daughter of Sarah Palacios, the director of the Native American program at Dartmouth. So Sofia is wearing a dress inspired by the turquoise waters surrounding the island of Saipan and the adobe earth in northern New Mexico. The dress was designed by her mom, Sarah Palacios, who is also Poake. Sofia is also wearing a kui net lei given to her by her daddy. Kui nut lei, sorry, I misread that. So we have a beautiful mix of indigenous prints and accessories from 2 different cultures. And there is a beautiful shot of Sofia. I'm loving the pairing of the denim jacket with the print dress and the kui lei. Next, we have Virginia Snake Bauman, who is a 24. It is from the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. So again, in Virginia's look, we see the kokum scarf. We have dentalium shell earrings with some check cut beads to add some sparkle. So Virginia, if you have the name of whoever made your earrings, you can drop those in the chat because we didn't know. But dentalium shell are a very popular adornment that you see, especially towards the western part of Turtle Island. And everybody knows check cut beads are the best way to add some sparkle to your outfit. So up next, we have Lori Alvord, who is a 75, and Arvizo Alvord, who is a 21. Lori looks.
The line at the store. I'm indigenous. Oh, creator, it's a bore. I'm indigenous. I hear the clerk break a snore. I'm indigenous. I could sleep on the floor. I'm indigenous. I hear your whispers behind my back, looking at me like I'm a snack. I'm indigenous. I won't steal your stuff, stay away. Stealing continents, that's your way. I'm indigenous.
I love the soundtrack. So V and V or Vi, I'm sorry, I've never said it out loud. I'm going to say V. V and Lori's looks are traditional Dene looks, from the squash blossoms to the concho belts to the tiered skirts, all the way down to the moccasins. The Western boots and beaded earrings are not traditionally Navajo, but they just look too good to leave behind. V says, my mother has had these outfits for a long time and does not remember who made them. Her concho belt was a gift from her grandmother. Her squash blossom items were made by William G. Johnson. My earrings I got from Rose's Trading Post in Toppenish, Washington. My concho belt is from the Powwow Trading Post in Page, Arizona. My boots are thrifted. My mother's moccasins are from City Electric Shoe Shop in Gallup, New Mexico. And the bolo tie has been passed down by V's family. Up next, we have Kendra Elk Looks Back, who is a 24. Kendra's look features the phenomenally indigenous shirt, created through a collaboration with phenomenal women and Native voices rising. The look also features kokum scarves, one with metallic thread, and a face mask by Jamie Okuma, featuring a dentalium and brass design. So they were lucky to get one of those. Jamie Okuma did not make very many of those face masks. I'm loving the modernness of this look as well. I like that it's a little bit darker. I love an all black look. I'm loving the face mask paired with it as well, and paired with the kokum scarves. I think it's a great look to rock in 2020. So up next, we have Elizabeth Coleman, 21. Native.
Elizabeth Coleman, Ko'uinoa no Oahu, Hawaii, Maiau.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Pullman. I am a 21, which means I'm a senior here at Dartmouth, and I am originally from Oahu in Hawaii. I'm a double major in studio art and sociology here at Dartmouth, and I also have a minor in Native American Studies. I'm currently co-president of Hokupa'a, which is the Pan-Pacifica student organization. Today, I am wearing a couple of things that are staple pieces for me. When you see me on campus, you'll always see me wearing something that has an Indigenous meaning for me, whether it's my jewelry or a scarf that I'm wearing, or even as small as a pin. So today I have my You're on Native Land pin, my Urban Native Era. I'm also wearing my Manaola pareo, or scarf. This pattern is Kawaya Kane, which loosely translates to the waters of Kane. Kane was the god of water. And so this pattern represents him. And finally, I'm wearing my earrings. This shell is actually native to Oahu. A lot of the jewelry that I wear is Hawaiian gold jewelry, which means that basically it was made by a Native Hawaiian individual and using Native Hawaiian materials. So as I said, these shells are native to Oahu, and they were used to create this look.
So I love that Elizabeth said that whenever they go out on to campus, they're always repping something that comes from their Indigenous culture, whether it's earrings, whether it's a scarf, whether it's the pin. And I think I think it's a really easy way to incorporate our own native fashion into everyday wear. And so up next, we have Stephen Jump, who is 21 and a Cherokee of the Cherokee Nation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Jumpmora, and I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. I grew up in Southern California. I'm also a senior here at Dartmouth College studying Environmental Studies and Native American Studies. Today, I am wearing a t-shirt by Kira Murillo, who is a really awesome tattoo artist, as well as just an amazing artist. Yellow is my favorite color, and I really love flowers, so this is 10 out of 10 shirt-wise for me. And then I'm also wearing a jean jacket that was gifted to me by a friend, and I went ahead and put ribbons on it, as well as this giant patch from the seal of the Cherokee Nation that I had no idea what I was going to do with until then. So yeah, that is what I'm wearing today.
So I'm really loving Stephen's look here. I love the Kira Murillo t-shirt, who's an incredibly talented tattoo artist. If you haven't followed her work, you definitely need to. I love the kind of updating that Stephen did by adding the ribbons to the denim jacket. I mean, you will see ribbon skirts and you will see, oh, and there are ribbon pants as well. Oh, is that coming next? Did we skip ahead? I won't skip ahead. But Stephen, your look was fantastic. Up next, we have Daniel Modesto, who is a 24 and is Mixtec. I'm hoping this is the look where we're going to see the ribbon pants. So Daniel's mask, I also just remembered that we're doing the student mask competition. This mask is being entered into the mask competition. And it was inspired by an Indigenous dance known as the Tecuani. And the shirt is wearing from the Urban Indian Health Institute, whose mission is to decolonize data, which is written on the front of the shirt. And yes, so the ribbon pants are by Stephen Jump, which is why they were shown in the last video. So Stephen Jump made these ribbon pants. As I was saying before, you often see ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts. Usually used to be seen as more traditional garb, but now people wear ribbon skirts more as regular streetwear and kind of rock our clothing more regularly. And I love that ribbon pants are a very modern take on that, and kind of an update that I haven't seen before. So ribbon pants are amazing. So up next we have Haley Shandine Brown, who is a 20 and therefore an alum, and is Danae.
To the runway, runway. Bring it to the runway, runway. Bring it to the runway, runway. Bring it to the runway, bring it to the runway. Bring it to the category is.
So alum and former Hood Museum Native American art curatorial intern, currently Anne Ray Fellow at the School for Advanced Research in Santa Fe. That was Haley rocking their look. And I just saw the note in the chat that V is a 20 as well. So I'm sorry that I had that note mixed up. But I loved the Jamie Okuma mask. Low-key offended that I wasn't given one by Jamie Powell. I saw that in the notes. Don't think I didn't notice. But I loved the Parfleche purse. And I love a good TikTok. I'm a big fan of a good TikTok. So up next we have Maeve Fairbanks and Abby Fitzpatrick, both 22s. Abby is Blackfeet and Bannock, and Maeve is Red Lake Band of Ojibwe. A video of their looks is coming.
Ooh, every day, native in the life.
Go stupid. True smart like an A+ student. I found your hair tie in my car. I could only drive so far without a breakdown. Baby, you're the queen of hearts. You know how to play your cards. You keep them face down. Pigs are scrolling way down. Wishing I could fix all my mistakes. I wish I could erase you. Girl, I can't replace you. The one that got away. Girl, your energy feels so heavenly. Make me feel like la 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 la. You a melody, what's a memory? It goes something like la 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 la. Down south, hood baby, all the girls go crazy.
So Maeve was featured wearing a B Yellowtail shirt with cloth scarves from Fox Trading Post in Browning, Montana. And the rain cloud earrings were made by Maeve herself. The long dangle flower earrings were also made by Maeve, and the pink tribal print mask by Tracy Rutherford in Browning, Montana. Abby was wearing hoop beaded earrings made by her, the chicken design mask made by Sarah Palacios, cowboy Wrangler jeans from her dad's closet. Kaden was flawless, but not wearing any Indigenous fashion for this shoot. Thank you, Kaden.
Hello world, come see you more clear now. I'ma take you on with no fear now. No struggles ever brought me down, and it's not gonna happen now. Cause I'm a warrior, I'm a champion, I'm a fighter, I'm not giving in. So bring it on, I'm ready for the fight. And I'ma survive this right. Everything gonna be alright, everything gonna be alright. Say, everything gonna be alright, everything gonna be alright. Say, there's so much joy, why don't we feel it? There's so much pain, oh, can we heal it? Can we heal it now? The fight is never ours alone. We're all in this together. Yeah. One life, one love. All you need is love. Give a little love. Give a little love. What if you were told that today was the last day of your life? Did you live it right? Right. Love is a gift you give away, and a big nice. Don't wait, don't let it pass you by. Don't let it pass you by. We feel awake, time is short souls.
Oh, that's not the right button. So now we've come to the portion of the evening where Gio will announce our winner of the mask competition, and then we will, while that is happening, we are going to promote all of the students who sent in submissions who are in the webinar to panelists, and we'll have a conversation about the looks they created, but also just some have some time to answer some more questions.
So I'm hoping my Zoom hasn't totally frozen up on me here.
We can hear you.
Well, I'm just waiting. Then I'm waiting for the envelope, so to speak, for the. Do I already have the envelope? Do I? No, of course I don't have the envelope. So I do apologize for not drawing more attention to the masks throughout the fashion show. I should have been talking about the masks as they were entered into the competition, and that's what we're going to be judging.
Oh, Gio, if you check your Zoom chat, the envelope.
Yes, my Zoom
it
chat
arrived.
completely frozen.
Okay, well, I can go. It'll be less exciting for everyone. But I will announce that Daniel Modesto, 24, has won the mask design competition and has won a $100 prize. So congratulations, Daniel.
Congratulations, Daniel. Yes, I'm sorry. My chat is now frozen. I can see you as long as you can hear me. I'll be ready for any questions, but I can't see any questions that are going to come in.
All right, so we can, I think other folks are maybe, if our student panelists would go ahead and unmute themselves and turn their video on. We will have our student organizers and the participants go ahead and introduce themselves, and then dive into some competitions. I know Gio might have some questions for you all about your looks as well.
I can go ahead and start, Jamie. Thank you for that. Aloha mai kako, o wau o Elizabeth Coleman, no manoa o ahumayau. Hi everybody, my name is Elizabeth. I am originally from Manoa in Hawaii on the island of Oahu. I am a 21 here at Dartmouth, and I'm Native Hawaiian and Cherokee. Stephen, do you want to go ahead? Also, I'm co-president of Hokupa'a, as I said in the video, the Pan-Pacifica student organization.
Sure. Hi. Hello, OCO, everyone. My name is Stephen Jumpmora. I am also a senior here at Dartmouth. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, and I am one of the co-presidents of NAD this year. we're just so grateful that all of you are here with us and so excited to be able to spend this little bit of time with you. I think, Alaya, if you want to introduce yourself next.
Hello, To. My name is Elia Johnson Jennings, and I'm also a senior at Dartmouth, and I'm the other NAD co-president, and I am Choctaw, Quapaw, Sac, and Fox in Miami.
Go ahead, Ab. I can go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Abby Fitzpatrick. I'm a 22, and I'm from Montana. I'm a part of the Blackfeet Nation, and I'm also Bannock.
All right, so I think that we are maybe having, Gio, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Daniel, do you happen to have your mask on you? Can you?
Yes, I do. I can grab it right now.
Okay, that would be great. And oh, hi, Sophia.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, my name is Sophia Palacios, and I am Pueblo and Chamorro. Do
you like fashion?
I like fashion, and my mommy also likes fashion a lot.
That is fantastic. I really miss seeing you in person, but I love that you shared your look with us.
Yes, thank you, Sophia. I wish I wasn't having problems. You're the only person I can see, Jamie.
Oh, well, then I'm very sorry for you. Okay, well, Daniel, do you want to tell us a little bit about your mask and what inspired the creation and how you learned to like fold the mask?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll introduce myself really quickly. Hi, I'm Daniel Modesto. I'm a 24. I'm East Tech, and originally I'm from Brooklyn. And so I guess I can show you my mask right now. As you can see, it's a paper mask. I guess I can start first with like the process, because I feel like the process was like first and then followed like the inspiration. So during our wonderful Friday Fun and Friends, we learned how to make a mask. And so actually during the live Zoom or like during the live Zoom session, I actually did not have like the stuff to make it. And so I was kind of just sitting there like wondering how to do this. And then obviously like, I think it was in the newsletter, like they had a link to like see it. And so I watched it like a couple of days ago, you know, in preparation for like the mask competition. And so it was definitely difficult to do, or at least I thought it was difficult to do. I'm not really good with instructions. And obviously it's kind of like origami, but you do have to like, you know, you might have to use glue, you might have to staple stuff here and there. But the whole purpose of it is to kind of just make a mask. And so this is kind of like my mask, a little bit more like, I don't know if you guys can see, but like this is a little bit more how it looks like. And the inspiration kind of came from this Indigenous dance that I remember. Like I didn't grow up with the dance, but my cousins perform the dance every like December. Usually it's performed in January, but I don't know. It's originally from Mexico, and for some reason, like when they brought it here, they decided to do it in like December, kind of to coincide with like a really important like holiday. But anyway, the dance it's supposed to depict kind of like a battle between like two different groups, but it also supposed to symbolize like kind of like an agricultural dance for like, you know, like crops and whatnot. And I really wish I learned how to do the dance. Unfortunately, I never did, but my cousins did. And so I kind of like talked to them a little bit about like what the dance meant and kind of like how to like make the dance, how to like incorporate the look of it, because they're supposed to kind of emulate jaguars. And so I tried to do that, but unfortunately, because it's my first time making the mask, I kind of folded it wrong. So it's supposed to be kind of it kind of looks weird if you kind of look a little bit like closer. I mean, it looks okay now, but my envisionment was kind of to have everything aligned. But in the end, I think it was pretty interesting the way it looked. And honestly, like I'm really proud of like what I did, especially because it was during election night and I was very stressed. But either way, I was able to do it, and I'm actually very happy about it. I kind of want to make another one now. I have some ideas, but we'll see.
Fantastic. So before we do more questions, I thought that I'd let a couple other folks who are now on the call introduce themselves and talk about maybe what it was like to participate in the fashion show virtually. V and Claire.
Hi, yeah, I can talk. My name is V. I'm a 20, majors are studio art and Native American studies. Participating in the fashion show was definitely an experience to be had. I did my mother's makeup, but it took a little bit too long, so we missed daylight. So we had to sort of like, move with that. But it was really fun. A lot of really good bonding time, really fun like editing the videos together. So yeah, it was a great experience. I'm glad the whole show turned out amazing.
V, I guess if you're done, I can talk a little bit about our experience here on campus. It was so interesting. I haven't been on campus in a couple of falls, so I didn't get to participate in our first annual fashion show. So I was really glad to be a part of this, even if it was in kind of a different setting. So many things about this year have been very different. But I think kind of like Daniel said, this is a pretty stressful time. And so it was great to be kind of for there to be a space for NADs who are on campus to be together and to bring good energy into that space. And I know that like I had some like nervous energy being in front of the camera, even though it's like Steven and my best friend Elizabeth who were there with me shooting things. It still was my first time to really like be in this setting of being like, oh, these are like the clothing choices that I made for this reason, and these are the Native artists or designers. And so, yeah, there were some nerves, but I think it really helped to be surrounded by the community and friends. And it was so awesome to see all of the 24s there, going through kind of Jamie's like box of like amazing clothes and jewelry. And so, yeah, it was an awesome experience, even though it was different. I think you can kind of see like it still brought us all together.
And I believe that Gio's back. So Gio, I have a question for you. We're in this weird virtual space, and there are obviously limitations to doing something like a fashion show in a virtual space. But virtual spaces are also really productive. And I know personally, I learn a lot about artists and emerging designers and folks in fashion through social media and virtual spaces to begin with. So who are, I know you talked a little bit about this earlier, but like who are folks that that you're following that you'd recommend? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Folks that I'm following that I would recommend. I feel like this is a political endorsement. I mean, some of the people that I've already mentioned include Jamie Okuma, Elias Not Afraid. Other people that I would follow, I'm trying to think like who pops up in my Instagram feed very often. I would follow my friend Ryan Young at Indigenous Vengeance on Instagram, especially for their t-shirts. Beyond Buckskin is another really good one if you want to keep up with Native fashion and other Native news related to fashion, as well as Dr. Adrienne Keene over at Native Appropriations, who is also on Instagram. So I think it's really good for you to try and find people that share content that you really relate to, though. I think that's why I'm having such a hard time recommending things, because I know the people that I like to follow in terms of fashion, in terms of makeup, but everybody is going to have a really different look for you to kind of find your own way, and to find things that you like in their social media. So a couple of others that are popping up off the top of my head would be Stephen Paul Judd, again on Instagram, Carrie Atombi on Instagram, Bethany Yellowtail I mentioned earlier. I would definitely follow a lot of people who are on this call right now. For example, I follow V on Instagram and on Facebook, and V is always posting things that are very important to talk about, and also always sharing killer selfies. I love people who share killer selfies. That's always a good reason to follow somebody, if you ask me. But I mean, there is a lot of fashion you can follow, and there's a lot of intersections of fashion and activism that you're going to discover. So just allow yourself to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I think there's also a lot of intersections of fashion and Dartmouth current students doing amazing work, and alums. And so I don't know if maybe Stephen or Haley wants to talk about the Nadstagram page and the highlight story that was created to celebrate today's event. And we can share that in the chat as well for folks to follow.
Haley, do you want to take it away since you did all the work?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So make sure you check out Nadstagram. On our story, we did it's a lot of stories, but you can flip through and everyone is tagged. It's all current students and alumni, and it's really cool because a lot of students are actively taking commissions. So during this time, you can financially support everyone. And also it's really cool because yeah, a lot of familiar faces, and it's fun to keep up with our alum. So yeah, go check out the story.
Well, we are at time, but usually when we end events like this, after the formal portion, we go to the part where there's mingling and party and performance. And even though that can't happen in person, RVSO has graciously submitted a performance for us. So to close out the event, V, do you want to tell us about what song you are performing? And Taylor will pull up the video of that.
Yeah, so the song is called Quiet by Milk. It was heavily popularized by around the time of the Women's March on Washington a few years ago. But I felt like it was very relevant, especially when we're thinking about issues that affect Native communities in particular. So the missing and murdered Indigenous women's trans and two-spirit issue. If you don't know about that issue, I would really implore you to start looking more into that, because it's really extremely important and it's not talked about enough. So I hope you enjoy the video, and please, take what you can from it and run with it.
Thank you all so much for being with us. Thank you to Gio for serving as an incredible MC for the event. Thank you to all the students who put in so much work on top of all of their coursework to make this event happen. And to Shelby Fitzpatrick, Sarah Palacios, and Taylor my colleagues on campus who have helped to support such a great event celebrating Indigenous creative excellence and joy in a moment where we really need this. So take care, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Light on your face. Know your place. Shut up and smile. Don't spread your legs. I could do that, but no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, if I just lie still, would I be that monster, scare them all away? If I let them hear what I have to say, I can't keep quiet. I can't keep quiet. A one-woman riot. I can't keep quiet for anyone. No, not anymore. 'Cause no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, take that dry blue pill. They may see a monster, they may run away, but I have to do this. I can't keep quiet, no. I can't keep quiet, no. One woman riot, no. I can't keep quiet. Someone who understands. Let it out now. Must be someone who understands. Let it out, let it out, let it out now. There'll be someone who understands. Let it out, let it out, let it out now. Oh, oh. I can't keep quiet. No, no. I can't keep quiet. No. I can't keep quiet. No.
Great. Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks again, Gio. Everyone, be safe, be well, and be kind to one another.
Thank you for having me. Be well.